back with you at Song Mentor, and it's riff heaven this month. I think we've got some of the classic riffs of all time coming up in the next few lessons. All Right Now, released in 1970 by Free from the album Fire and Water. It was co-written by Paul Rodgers and drummer Simon Kirke. An amazing signature riff. Two versions were released. The popular 5.5-minute version that we hear all the time on classic rock radio, and then a shorter version, just over 4 minutes, that was released as a single. Both interesting, slightly different guitar riffs in them, but we'll make sure that we get you a great version here today. Here's Free, Paul Rodgers, Simon Kirke. All Right Now. All right, before we get into that wonderful classic riff, let's talk about the 3 chords you're going to need during other parts of the song, guitar solo part, for example. And I'm going to get you to play what I call a super A, if you like. Okay, so it's basically the first finger is barring the A chord, and then your pinky finger is stretching up and covering the 5th fret of the 1st and 2nd strings. And you're picking from this 5 string down. It's really a power A chord. Also the super or power G, which is a regular open G chord, but I'm also again flattening out that pinky finger again. This time, instead of on the 5th fret across 2 strings, it's on the 3rd fret across 2 strings. Okay, super G, we'll call that. You're also going to need a D chord, but rather than the simple open D, I'm going to get you to play this one, which is the first 2 fingers. This first finger bars the first 3 strings at the 2nd fret. The 2nd finger plays the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then the 3rd finger plays the 4th fret of the 4th string. Okay, because you're going to need this note. Later on, when we pick through these chords, you're going to need that note, and if you just play the open D, it's not there. And finally, you need an open E chord. Once, I believe. So those are the 4 chords you need. There are only 4 chords in the song. However, there's lots of wonderful riffing and a fantastic guitar solo coming right up. Okay, that's the riff, and what we're really doing here is we're starting with just a basic A chord, and we're adding that D over A, okay, which is 2nd finger, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 3rd finger, 4th fret of the 4th string. That makes a D chord. And you're just hammering that on, taking it off. Hammering those 2 notes on, taking them off. And then at some point in this riff, we're going to have those 2 notes on and remove the bar, so that we have that chord momentarily, and then we're going to put the bar back on, and then take the 2 notes off. So it's just a matter of adding these notes, those 2 notes, taking them away, adding them, taking the bar away, putting the bar back on, taking the notes away. And that's how this riff is played. See how I did that? The first part is pretty straight, and then quick hit on the bar. Now I've got the 2 notes without the bar, put the bar back on, take the notes away. Okay? Alright, I want to show you what the right hand's up to here. I've taken the overdrive off just to show you, let you hear the clarity of the strumming a little more clearly. Now, if I were doing that with my voice, it would be dun da 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 da. That's the rhythm.
really slowly for you. And as soon as we put the overdrive back into that, we've got our riff. All right, well, the riff is what's used during the verses. The chords are what's used during the chorus and during the guitar solo. A different sequence in the chorus and the guitar solo, but during the chorus, all right now, baby, it's all right now. That, here's what we're going to play. Okay, let's take a close look at that. That's the power A that I showed you in the chord section. And all I'm doing there is on the way down to the G, the power G chord, I'm letting my third finger play the 4th fret of the 4th string. And then I'm picking the 2nd fret of the 4th string. This is a fairly stretchy group of chords here, and to go from this to that, you know, you're going to have to work on this a little bit. There's some stretches and some movement that's quite fairly dramatic. With vocal. 1, 2, 3. All right now, baby, it's all right now. And that's the chorus playing. Okay, the last thing rhythm-wise to show you before the guitar solo is the chord playing during the guitar solo. And we said that it was the same 3 chords, just in a different sequence as the chorus. And it is. So the chorus was A, G, D, back to A. The guitar solo cycles through the power G, the D, and that super A chord. So G, D, humming the guitar solo there so you get the idea of how these chords cycle through the guitar solo. And the thing I wanted to show you why we play this D chord is if you could try to emphasize those notes. That's the 3rd and 2nd string of the G chord and the 4th and 2nd string of that D chord. You know, you can pick them the first couple times if you want, just pick them. But inevitably you're just going to want to play the chords through the guitar solo, so if you can just kind of try to emphasize those notes a little bit. Especially the first couple times. Once the guitar solo gets going, you can just get into this. Okay? And that's the rhythm, the chording, during the guitar solo. Now the last time through, the very end of the guitar solo, it's... And that's where that single E chord comes in. And then back into our riff. Alright, the wonderful guitar solo. First thing I did was I did increase the overdrive just a little bit here. And I did put my pickup selector in the neck position here, just to get a little more richness and depth on the Les Paul style guitar anyway. So we all know the guitar solo kicks in with the bass. Boom, 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 boom. Then you get the... those notes I mentioned earlier. Does it one more time. Boom, 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 boom. And on that next beat, that's when the guitar solo begins. And that's a hammer down on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. So that's the first phrase. Up to the 4th. Sort of shuttling back and forth between the 4th and 2nd frets. So again. Time like that, and then same thing but up to the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Now when I play 5th and 7th, slide from 5th to 7th on the 2nd string, I'm going to also pick the open 1st string. Okay, so far we have Then I'm going to go to the 4th fret of the 3rd string with my 3rd finger, 2nd finger rather, and I'm going to pick up on the 5th fret of the 1st string with my pinky is on. So I'm picking 3rd and 1st strings here, down on 3, up on 1. And after I pick down on 3 and up on 1, I bend the 3rd string up. And then I end up back on my starting note. Okay? And then I'm going to slide that 2nd finger rather all the way up, because this is where the solo goes next. It goes up higher on the neck, all the way up to the 10th fret. Vibrato that, the heck out of that. Then I'm going to start playing some triplets. Okay, so I'm simply playing with my 1st and 3rd fingers. I'm playing on the 9th and 11th frets. I'm keeping my 2nd finger on the where it was, on the 10th fret of the 2nd string, and I'm playing this triplet. And that's a bend on the 12th fret of the 2nd string with my 3rd finger. You want to get that so it's sweet. That's, you know, the hardest part of solo work and guitar playing is getting your vibrato right. Okay, so you do that twice. And now you're just gonna take your 3rd finger and bend up on the 12th fret. Your pinky is on the 12th fret of the 1st string, and you hit both. So you're bending up on the 12th fret of the 2nd string and also picking the 1st string at the 12th fret. And those other notes are the 10th fret of the 2nd string and the 11th fret of the 3rd string. And you play that 3 times. Now you go all the way up to fret 17, and you're going to play a triplet all the way up here, and I'll move up so I can show you this. And this one is barring the 17th fret, 2nd and 1st strings, and you're hammering the 19th fret of the 2nd string with your 3rd finger. And then you take that 3rd finger and put it on the 20th fret. And that's your next bend up. Similar to the one you had here. Except now you're up here. Okay?
Alright, our next phrase is a series of bends at 20. I'm going to bend on the 1st string at the 20th fret, and then hit 17 of the 1st string, and then bend at 20 of the 2nd string, hit the 1st string 17 again quickly, and then back to 20 of the second string. So it's bend on 20, a quick 20, 17, and then a bend on 20 of the second string, and then a quick 17 again on 1, and then a bend again on the 20th fret of the second string. So again, that little section, like so. Okay, next we have some more of those triplets. And again, it's 5 times through, and then the bend up on the, I'm losing track of frets here, 19th fret of the second string. And then that's followed right away with this, which is 3 bends on 20 of the first string, and then 2017 on 1, and then the bend on 20 of 2. So one more time. And finally, our last phrase that wraps up the guitar solo. We're going to bend up on 20 of the second string with vibrato, and then bend it back down and hit 20. 2 hits on 19, and 2 hits on 17 with vibrato. So like this. And then back into the signature riff. All right, fine tuning for all right now. Well, one of the signature riffs of all time in rock and roll. Lots of fun with that. I didn't sing this, but normally I like to sing songs all the way through, but out of respect for Paul Rogers and his amazing voice, I left that to him. Interestingly enough, I think he has some relatives with a summer home right in my area here, so he shows up in my town every once in a while, which is kind of cool. All right now, one of the classics from Free on Song Mentor. We'll see you next time.